Hi friends, it's Tanya and welcome back to my One Sheet Wonder Christmas series here. So this was a 12 by 12 sheet. You can see I already kind of started to prep it. I just wanted to see how the design would look with these trees. I was trying to make sure this was big enough that I could at least see one or two trees on here, and it is, so I think I'm going to go ahead and go with it. So for those of you guys who have not watched my other videos, you just take a 12 by 12 piece of paper, and then you go ahead and you cut it at 4.5 one way. So you cut two strips of 4.5. So there's one, and then you're going to cut another one here at 4.5. And then you're going to be left with 3 inches here. And so if you cut this at 4.5, I'm not going to do it because this is directional. I think it'll look funny. But if you cut it in 4.5, you get 2 more out of this, and you'll just have a little tiny piece here that you don't use, and you end up using the whole paper, and it's really nice and it doesn't waste anything. But for those that you've cut at 4.5, you just go and cut them at 3, and then it ends up making 8 this way. So I'm going to go ahead and finish these. So this will only make 8 cards because this is directional, and I don't think it will. I just think this one won't look as well the other way. So anyway, it's my thought on this, but that's okay. So there's that one, and there's those. So there's 8 of them. And then, like I said, if I could use the other side as well, I would. But again, this is directional, and I just kind of think the card looking this way, I don't think it will look that great. So I'm going to save this and use this for something else. And I'll just make the 8 cards this time. But normally, like I said, this would make 10. So I just thought those were really, I love the trees. And I'm actually almost used up this whole paper pack. So I wanted to keep using all these. So this is the Presents and Pinecone Designer Series paper. So it comes in a pack like this, and there's 12 in here, and they're double-sided. As you can see, they make really pretty cards, and this would be really nice as well, but these are for my husband, and so I thought this is a little too feminine for some of the men that he's sending them to. Thought he could get away with that one. So I'm going to go ahead and get out my cherry cobbler paper, because this is cherry cobbler in here. It tells you on here what colors that it's using. It says cherry cobbler is one of them, and then emerald envy is the other. So those were the 2 options here to use, and I thought this would really pop with the cherry cobbler. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the bases, and since I'm only making 8 cards, I only need 4 of these. I've been flying through this, so it's really nice. So then, for those, if you guys don't remember, you cut this at, let me open this up. So anyway, you're going to go ahead, this is really easy, you just cut this at 7, and then you turn this, and you're going to cut this at 5 2 times, because you'll have a little strip extra. So go to the 5 mark there, and cut it at 5, and then you're going to cut it at 5 again. And then here are your extras from that 8.5 by 11 paper. So that's what you have extra. So I'm going to go ahead and do all these, and then I'll score them. So I'm just making 8 bases here. And you really can just fly right through these as you go. I think you cruise right along, put on a movie or some Christmas music and get into the mood. And then you fly right through these. Before you know it, you'll have 10 cards made, and you'll be like, wow, that was fun. There we go. So the funnest part about these is if you have any punches as well, just to accent them with a punch, and then it just goes fast. It goes right out fast as yeah. The decorating goes fast as well. So I've been using all different kinds of my punches, and it's just nice to have all the Stampin' Up! Products on hand. Okay, so now I'm going to take my stack here that I have, and these are my bases, like I said, and I'm just going to score these in half, which would be 3.5. So I'm just going to score them all in half, and then I'm ready for my next part. So 3.5. I really like the Stampin' Trimmer. It is really nice if you guys are thinking about getting one. I definitely recommend it. You can see how quickly this just flies through. And I did the first one that I did of this series, I did it real time to show you, and that was even, I was even using my die cutting machine, and I still made them in about an hour. So you can make them for a lot less if you're not going to use your die cutter. So I'm going to move this aside now. And then at this point, it's super fast because you're just going to put this on top here, and then you can decorate it however you want to from that point forward. So I'm just going to get out my my bone folder here, and oh, I have some glue on it. And then I'm going to go ahead and just score these, not score, I always say that, but fold them down. Just make them nice and flat. And I really like this cherry cobbler. I think it's a really pretty red. They have this one, and they also have the real red. So I love this richer red here. That's my favorite of the two. If you don't have a bone folder, I definitely recommend this because it saves your fingers, and it also makes it nice and flat without without ripping, or sometimes you'll get fraying on the top here. And if you score it and use your bone folder, you won't get that. Okay, so now they're all folded, and then this is how I do it. I just go ahead and open them back up so I can get ready to adhere. I do this all in a stack here. As you can see, I'm just flying through this because it really is this simple. And then I'm just going to get out my glue gun, and I'm going to go ahead and glue these to the bases. So one at a time. Okay. And I just take a base, put it on there, and go to the next one. And then I'll decorate the tops of them after I'm done with all of them. And if you do it this way, I promise you guys will just fly through these, and just use what you have on hand already. If you don't have this Stampin' Up! Paper, of course that doesn't, that's just fine. I sell it, but I still understand that we have what we have on hand. So use any 12 by 12 paper that you have. I thought this was pretty with that red in the background. It really kind of pops off the page. I thought it was really pretty. I would normally be watching a movie while making these or something. I'd have on It's a Wonderful Life, or let's see, what else do I really like that's a Christmassy? Miracle on 34th. That one's a really good one. Any Hallmark Christmas movie, those are amazing. I just love those as well. You guys have the Hallmark Channel. They're so cute and fun. They're kind of just uplifting. Anything that gives you a laugh is great. And then here's the last one. And of course these would be really pretty, like I said, on the bow side. If I was sending these to females, I would definitely do it, but these are going to males. So okay, and then I had a thought how I'm going to decorate this. So you can see that these are all ready to go. And you could stop just right here if you wanted to, but I'm actually going to stamp the inside, and then I'm going to do a little decoration on the front. So let me grab my my stamp set that I want to use. Okay, so my thought was to use this really cute Mountain Adventure set because of the trees. I thought maybe I would just use this little ski lift here, and then inside just the sentiment, Warmest Winter Wishes. So I thought that would be kind of fun with these trees that are already going on here. So that was the thought. And I actually finally got my regular Misty. So I wanted to show you guys this. This is the regular size. It has the magnets on the back here. So I'm going to go ahead and use this. And it comes with a whole paper pad here, so you can switch out. You just pull these off. But I usually don't ever do that anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and stick this in here, and we'll stamp away. And if you don't use two, I find that it doesn't stamp very well. So keep that in mind when you're doing this. So all you do is you just take out the sentiment that you want, the stamp set, and just place it. So it's right in the corner, so you know exactly where it is every time when you go back to do it the next one. I'm just going to place this right there in the middle. And then I like this because it has checks, a grid. So if it doesn't get straight on there, you can totally see. And it's not straight on there, so I'm just going to go ahead and fix that. So at least I know where I want it. So now I can just make sure it's straight. There, that's much better. So then every time you stamp, if you put your card right here in the corner, you won't have to move that at all. It'll go right where you need it to go. Yeah, it'll go right where you need it to go. So that's the perfect part about this Misty. I love it. And you can make multiple, multiple ones over and over again. So I'm going to grab out my Emerald Envy. It's right here. It's my Emerald Envy, and that's the color I'm going to use. I'm just kind of sticking and keeping this one neutral, just sticking to the colors that are on here. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this one up. I haven't used this stamp yet. And I'm getting green everywhere, so let me grab a wipe. Okay, so the great part about this is if I make a mistake, I can just keep the card in there and just re-stamp it. And it will work great. See, it didn't stamp properly all in the middle, so all I have to do is go back in there with this. And it's right in the same spot, so I know it's going to stamp right over itself. There we go. So then it's good. So that's why I really like this Misty, especially if you're doing a bunch. You don't have to worry about lining it up. It goes right where you need it to. Making a mess here. There we go. Haven't used this larger one yet. This is the first time. There we go. Normally I can just cruise right through these. Oops. Oops, see, that didn't stamp. That's why I love this. Then I can just go back in and it'll stamp right where it was supposed to stamp before. And it's perfect. You will never know that you made a mistake. And sometimes when you double stamp on something, it actually makes it richer in texture and richer in color. And other times you can't tell. It depends on the stamp color. But so if you want to get a double stamp on there and make it really pretty, you can do that as well. With this is the perfect way to do it. There we go. Just have a few more. I just think it doesn't smear as much if you use both magnets, and it comes with two, so take advantage of it and use them both. Gonna have to get ink refills for my my green and reds after Christmas. I did that with my orange after I was done with Halloween. I had to get an orange refill because I had used so much of it, which is fine. That's what it's for. But it was just funny. I don't know that I'll be using green again until St. Patrick's Day. Okay. There we go. And it goes rather quickly, like I said. So this is card number 7, and then I have 8 right there, and then I am done. Of course, normally I'd have 10. Oops. There we go. Last one. That should be good. There we go. So now I'm just going to go ahead and wipe this all up. And I let this dry open before I put it away. I have an extra one here. I'm just getting ready for it. Okay, go. Now I'm going to put my ink away. And now this is all clean for the next time I use it. And okay, put this away. And then I'm going to grab out the next thing. So what I want to do, so I have all my insides stamped, and then the outsides here. I'm going to decorate these, and I thought I would emboss the little ski lift and put it. So I'm going to try one first to see how I like it. So, and then I'm going to punch out a little label using my my decorative label here. So I'm just going to measure this really fast because I can't remember how big this is, so I can trim the piece of paper. So it is, what, 2.5? So I'm going to slice these like 2.5 inches. And I have some black here. I thought that'd be really pretty if I embossed this. So let me grab a piece of paper here. So at 2.5. And I just want to measure how far in I need to go. I'm just using that so I know how how wide to cut these. So I want to cut them out so I can. I'm going to emboss them. I want to be able to emboss them all at the same time. So this is what? 2 3/4. These are 2 3/4. I just want to have a little bit of a lip to hold on to. That's 4, so I just need 2 of them. It looks like. So 2 3/4. Okay, so there should be 8. And then I'm going to grab my block and my Versamark and my embossing buddy. And see, if you were just stamping this though, if you were leaving them just like this, you could be done and it would be just, you know, you'd be just fine. So I'm going to do a couple of these at a time because I don't want the Versamark to dry. So let me see, I'm going to take my little ski lift here. I'm putting this in my block. Let's see, yeah, this way. I'm going to do a couple at a time like I said here. So I'm just going to do my embossing buddy over it, over the whole thing. And it will have a little powder in it, so just, that's normal if it looks a little white when you're done. After you've used your embossing buddy, that is normal. So I don't want to go all the way to the edge there because I'm only going to use that much of it. It'll cut off the last one. So I'm just, when I place this down, I'm just making sure that I know that, so that I make sure I place it properly so it can be stamped that way. Okay. There we go. So there's 2 of them. And then I have my real red here, even though that's cherry cobbler. I think this will look fine. If it doesn't, I will be redoing it, but I'm just going to go ahead and use a little bit of the embossing powder. We'll do the same thing on this one. I finally bought these little containers to keep my embossing powder in. I think that that's all I need. So and then I grabbed my heat tool, And I finally bought this Stampin' Up! One, and the reason I wanted this one so much is because it has two different settings. So you have one which is for ink to dry, and two which is for the embossing here. So I was excited to get this. So I'm going to go ahead and warm this up. It really lightens up once it starts to set. Okay. And then taking my, this should work, hopefully, my decorative label punch here. Hoping that I have enough space to hold it. So you can see I'm just angling it so I can just get the whole bit of that. And I'm going to punch that out. Grab out my paper that's in here. So I need to make sure when I emboss these to do it the opposite way that I did. So I'm going to put these the proper way so I won't make that mistake again. So I want to emboss them this way. Okay, but then I thought that that would still look good even though it's a different red, but I think it does. So I was just going to put that right in the middle, and my husband can send these out. So I'm going to go ahead and just I'm going to go ahead and finish these, and I'll be right back. I just wanted to show you guys the last one here. So I've got them all ready except for the last one, just to make sure. If they don't fit, I just take my tweezers and put it in. I'm going from the bottom of it, make sure the bottom gets in, and then push your finger down a little bit to get that side in there. And then you go ahead and push, pump it out, and then use your tweezers again to pull it out. That way you don't waste a lot of paper. And so I just wanted to show you that technique. And then I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm going to pop these up. So let me see. I think they look pretty on there. So I think I'm going to pop them up, and I'm going to do one popped up, and we'll see how I like it. Maybe I'll do one flat. But we're sending these out tomorrow, so I have to get these all done. There we go. So I think that looks really good popped up like that. So I think I'm going to do them all like that. So I'm going to go ahead and just my little assembly line here and put all of my little dots on them, my dimensionals. Keep going. There we are. A couple more. I really just like to do things like this kind of in a row so that I feel like it's just way more efficient, I guess. I don't know. When you're doing one card and you're spending 30 minutes on one, then I understand, it's different. But you're doing a whole bunch like this, definitely take all the help you can get, especially if you were going to make 50 all in one day. I just like that red on there. I think it really looks pretty, the red embossing. There we go. Almost done. And one more. Oops, come on. These dimensionals are definitely my favorite. I've used several others and I like these the best. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and adhere these all down. Just taking my tweezers. I like this because it takes your fingers out of view so that you can kind of see where you're placing it. And that just works for me. Makes it a little easier. I think that looks fun with the ski lift and then the trees in the background, kind of like you're in the mountain. And then I'm going to see if I have any more of this paper in my scrap so I can go ahead and make the 10 of this. I might have some in my scrap pile. Oops. Oopsie. Okay. There we go. There's 8 more cards. I wish it was, if it wasn't directional, I would have done 10, but it was directional. So see, even with directional, you can still get a fair amount of cards out of a 12 by 12 paper. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you back with my my last one. Bye.